Post-apocalyptic and back from the dead. It's the Morning Aftermath on Channel Z.
Morning Aftermath special Nerdout edition. You hear those lightsabers, you know what time it is. We've not got to do a full-on official Nerdout since we've taken over all these podcasts we've been doing. I think we're up to episodes 4 now.
Yeah,
it's already
episode 4.
Yeah, so maybe in between, this is between 4 and 5 when you're probably going to hear this one.
4.2.
4.2, but we have to do a full-on 100% nerd out. It's Jake, James, and Tory, the Nature Boy Leia, along with the one and only Waylon Whiskey. We like to call ourselves the Aftermath 3. Missing Gutterball, would make us the complete Mad Max Mama Lee 4 horsemen
of the
apocalypse.
Yeah.
But he has an actual job.
Yeah.
So we are going to get to talk about this, hopefully a little bit more, because this nerd out is so special. When I went to bed the other night, we had watched Thanos again do the snap. We were checking it out on Netflix. My buddy had not seen it, so I went through and showed him like the cutscene at the end of Ragnarok, so he could see where Infinity War was going to pick up. And I know that he'd seen Strange and Black Panther in the theater, so pretty much he'd seen all the 7 that you need to. But I'm there with the 21 movie knowledge. Right. So we're going to bust it off. We had some drink, and I remember we were laughing and having fun just as if we were like kids again. It was great. I'm getting to show him Thanos. I'm like, man, I hope Parker have that incident again, because I don't need to cry. I don't need to cry. And, man, I think I've been watching Infinity War like 7 times leading up, because we're getting ready for the big dog happening on the 26th of this month, correct? Like we're like
2 weeks.
I'm still hoping to see Captain Marvel before that comes around.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I already saw that. Make sure they turn the lights off. I actually went in the theater the other day, same theater 3, right, to go in and see Shazam. Lights didn't go off at the right time. Had to go up there and complain. Really upset. And right when I walked up to get my ticket and I saw the manager that was there from the Wonder Woman incident with the bird, I said, this isn't going to be good. And then when they put us in 3, I was like, man, not going to be good.
You already felt it coming.
So got to see Shazam. I'm caught up with Captain Marvel. Shazam, by the way, excellent.
Really?
I'm glad that I saw it before the new preview came out that I saw, because I was like, if I'd have gotten that line ruined right there, or that scene kind of ruined, I would have been upset, because that was the Thor and Rocket and Groot coming down through the Bifrost. That kind of moment was in, and you don't want those moments in the theater ruined. Right. So got to go in, and of course it was just me and another guy in the front row. I didn't even sit in my normal one seat that I like, Tori. I moved all the way to the middle.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, look at me, because it was Shazam. 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. I got to give this a try.
Shazam.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. How hard is it not to want to say that the whole movie?
Shazam, Shazam, Shazam.
But DC, 3 great movies in a row now. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam. And they've done more to connect that universe with these 3 movies than a whole Justice League did.
Yeah.
Wow.
I very much enjoyed it. I love the end. Check out the Shazam. Stay all the way through it. The Rock is a producer. Way to go. Can't wait to see him as Black Adam. It's taking the world by storm. You got to check it out.
I can't wait till Shazam comes out, which is Captain Marvel Jr., which they're going to have to. They have it set up. I've not seen it yet, but I can tell his friend there, Freddie. Is that his name?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's Captain Marvel Jr. So hopefully we'll get to see that in the next movie. If not in this one, I've not seen it. I'd love to see it in this one. I like him actually better than Shazam.
Oh, the kid.
Captain Marvel Jr.?
Yes.
Because the blue costume. Mm-hmm. You know me with my colors blue. When I was a little kid, I just always thought that was so cool. That blue with the yellow lightning bolt and the red cape, as opposed to the Captain Marvel red and yellow.
Well, I'll tell you this, without giving you without any spoilers at all, you're going to be happy, because that blue might happen because our boy Freddie, big fan of Superman. So if he did happen to have that happen, I think he would take the blue outfit.
So I'm excited about that then.
Great flick. Yeah, this is one that this is a theater for you.
Right.
You should see it in the theater. Hopefully they turn the lights off and turn the sound up.
Well, I remember the old Saturday morning one that used to come on, the original one. And I remember watching it live. ISIS came on right after that. And I've went back and since watched an episode or 2 of that. Wow, that was bad.
Oh.
It was really bad. But, I mean, as a 7-year-old kid or whatever old I was, it was wonderful.
Well, Justice League, our Super Friends, same way.
Yeah.
Right? They deliver their line, and then the narrator says the exact same line again, and then like now they're going to fly to the Hall of Justice. We need to fly to the Hall of Justice.
Meanwhile-
It was just a bunch of repeating. So that's like when you were a kid.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
And one of those voices was Ted Knight. There was two different
Really?
voices that voiced that. One of them was Ted Knight.
And
Meanwhile,
I used to love that right there. And I'm telling you, that's why when you were as a kid, especially myself and the Silverback, when we were kids, we would always play Super Friends and stuff like that. We'd be like, all right, now you say this, right? Like, so you'd have to deliver a line just like the narrator, and then your friend would deliver it back and be like, bam, and now I throw my batarang. Right?
did you make your own capes and masks?
We actually, remember the pajamas that had a little bit of Velcro on your shoulders for the cape? Like, it was a whole like onesie of Superman, and then it had little Velcro. He's here for your red
No,
tape.
I had underoos and a towel.
Bird never got me underoos. I never had underoos because, once again, that comes back to the stuff that's like when it's that fancy, like a Louis Vuitton or whatever we decided it's called, how it's just like the symbol.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't like symbols and stuff. It's too busy for me sometimes. I like Hawaiian flowery shirts. But underoos, nah, she always just treated me like a big kid. And then, of course,
Oh, we
when
made
it was time to buy underwear, it was always like for a holiday, and then it'd be boxers, and now I don't even wear it. So
Yeah.
we made our own masks all the time. And best thing to make your own mask, kids, sweatpants leg.
oh yeah, that's
Or,
right.
or a pair of your mom's spandex. That's even better. Yeah, take that leg,
Yeah, they
cut
love
the
that.
spandex leg, and it'll come, or your sweatpants leg. It'll come right down over your face. You cut the eye holes, and however way you want to fashion the mask. Works
Buddy,
pretty good.
I'm glad you brought that up. I got something I'm going to tell you, and some for our listeners a little bit later. This is a tease, but sweatpant leg. When you told me about that the first time, I thought about how I'm going to use sweatpants to make my Bonnaroo outfit this year, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it. I'm going to be
Oh,
looking like
boy.
a little miniature skeleton. Yeah, you're going to dig it. It's going to be great. I can't wait to tell you all about it. But between getting ready for Infinity War, right? We're getting ready for Infinity War back the other night. I'm
Right.
watching it with my buddy Sugar Tank. Right, we're getting ready. I can't wait. Thanos, we're already thinking this is the only thing we got to live for, right? We're 2 weeks away. You know what I mean? And then we watch it. We're hyped up. That morning, I wake up to the Star Wars trailer. Right? You go to bed dreaming of sugar plums and infinity stones, and then you wake up, and all I can think about is lightsabers and how sand gets everywhere, and it's coarse and it's horrible, and the waterfalls of Naboo. Right? Like, just dreaming about it. Like, what was it? My Aunt Beru impression when it's always like, Luke, right? He's gone off. You got to get those motivators fixed up right there. But we woke up to the Star Wars trailer, and that's why we wanted to have this special one-off nerd out because, like I said, all I could think about was Infinity War. And now, buddy, I wasn't even excited.
I just want to know who is the last Skywalker.
Or the Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise, yeah, well-
Rise of the Skywalker, name of the title. I was excited because I knew we'd probably get it before Infinity, Endgame.
Right.
I knew we'd have to get it because the same companies. Why have all this hype with these first run tickets being sold and not put it out? But we also knew that we would probably get it.
It's a teaser trailer.
It's a teaser
This
trailer.
is just a teaser.
Right. And we'll still have this one next week. And
Yeah.
then in about a month or a month and a half, we'll get the full on trailer.
Right.
Now let's do the original breakdown. When we first saw the one for Force Awakens, right? Dark screen, you hear heavy breathing, Finn's head pops up, right? And as he's just left the First Order, right? Going to be like what do they call that when you run off from the military tour? AWOL.
AWOL.
Yeah.
Right? He just gone AWOL.
A deserter.
With what we find out later is with the help of Poe. That was after that crash. Now, the next teaser trailer for Last Jedi. Heavy breathing, dark screen, and all of a sudden it's Rey training with Luke, right? You come up and that's her head, it's raising up, and all the rocks and stuff are moving around with her, right? Like a little bit of the gravel coming up.
Yeah. Showing the force power she got.
Right.
Right.
Same thing now again. I love the way that Disney and JJ and everybody has stuck with the same trailer format. Right? Remember when we watched the last two back to back, side by side, how it was almost
Right.
the same kind of thing. It's like they're making their own kind of trailer
Cycle.
and movie. Like, this is how we do it, and that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah. They've got a template for it.
So we got her deep breathing, right? Flash the camera. It's Rey, but this time standing straight up, got that 100-yard sniper stare from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right? The Rise of Skywalker, I think that kind of tells us where we're at right now.
Right.
AWOL leaving the First Order, right? Going back to, nobody want to go back to Jakku. Right.
Well,
Then-
and just like with the first trilogy, like between the second and the third, there was a huge jump in skill set for Luke. Like Luke was just a kid at the end of the Empire, and then he's a master, in return.
And yet he's a master that never even went back to Dagobah yet.
Right.
So like he did some other training and just decided, I've lifted enough rocks and
He just grew.
yeah. Do you think that Luke could have lifted out an X-wing? I love how he parked it in the water in Force Awakens. Like he's like, I learned this on Dagobah, right here. Well, then it opens. Now we got Rey fully standing up, right? You can kind of hear something off in the distance. Pulls out the lightsaber, or as we like to now call it, the youngling killer.
Yeah.
Right? The original blue that like called out to her. And that's when we first wondered, who is this girl?
Right.
Right? Who is she? Everybody wanted to know the last name. As far as we know, a junker, right? She's a salvager, a scavenger. But why would this one piece of artifact be calling out to her?
Right.
Now she's got it, knows how to use it. I mean, hell, even Finn used it.
Yeah.
One of the only other non-Jedi people to ever use a lightsaber in Star Wars, other than Han opening up a
I was gonna say,
tauntaun.
like that was the only time I remember it. Is
Yeah.
Han being a butcher.
And even Obi-Wan, when he first handed it to Luke, it was like Luke kind of knew how to use it. He could feel it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it called out to him, but he definitely was able to take on a blindfolded. What do they call those little balls that would training
Balls.
training module?
Benoit?
I'm sure. Yes, I think that's the Asian version. That's
Okay,
It's
sorry.
very It's not usually translated
it's
out.
to strengthen your Jedi floor.
Yes, it's
Keep that core tight. Keep that
different
core
movie
tight.
altogether.
Well, then we see not Kylo Ren's TIE fighter, really, because it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's like an interceptor.
It's a TIE interceptor, but what I know from collecting the miniatures, the Hot Wheels one, that is a First Order Special Forces one because you can see the red stripe on the right side
I
of
wonder
it.
if it's Plaza or Phasma.
Well,
Is there?
it's going to be somebody, and I want to say maybe it is Kylo because how about this idea? The reason why we're not seeing him is they're not also shooting at each other, right? What if they're training? What if they are training together? What if she's not the Skywalker? What if who's in that's getting trained? Maybe Ren is the Skywalker because he is Ben and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of like he got more Skywalker blood that we know of than Rey because we don't know this. Now, the embrace at the end. I'm just going to jump to the end with Rey hugging Leia. We knew Leia was going to have to show up. That was the big deal with having the extra footage so that we didn't put her face on somebody else.
Right.
Is she Rey's mother?
I would say yes.
I've been thinking the same thing because
That-
they separated Luke and Leia. Maybe they did the same thing with Rey and Kylo. Of course, what that does set up is a really weird Alabama angle where they're brother and sister.
Right.
So
and
that-
we
Well,
don't want
they
that
did
again.
it. They did it
What's going
before.
on?
We've done that before, so we don't want to have that meme for another 30 years.
Yeah.
Right? But they
Good
haven't
point.
kissed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did they kiss?
I don't think so.
I think that it was just they were mind melded together from Snoke, and he just happened to have his shirt off,
they had a connection.
which is weird because that's one of the first times we've ever seen a shirt off. I think in Star Wars, like hadn't
Right.
everybody always
Well, they
had
were
clothes
probably.
on?
I mean, you got to think in the '80s, no one had abs.
Has it come out that they've really not brother and sister? I mean, have they acted out to where it would be
No.
weird? Really? I mean, because
That's
that
what I'm
could
saying.
be.
I
That
don't
would be
think
a little weird because there was definitely some like sexual tension there.
Right. But
So yeah, it would be weird. It would depending on where you're from, but
and once
it
again,
would
I
be
feel
pretty
like
weird.
Star Wars, Alabama.
it's Star Wars sexual tension because once again, we've never gotten to have a great female characters. Like you get Luke and Han, and then you only get Leia.
Yeah.
For a long time, and then we
and
finally
we
got
don't know.
Kim
I mean, the
Tran.
Ewoks. We don't know which of them.
Right, but I'm saying,
What if Chewie's
there's no
a
Arya
girl?
Stark. You
No,
see what I'm
that's
saying? Like,
true.
there's no that one character where you're like, look, if this was other than Rey now,
Yeah.
if this was just about the lady, then it would be perfect. They had to
Leia's
throw
the
Kylo in
closest
with the
thing.
shirt off. Right, Leia was the only original thing that we got. So now we've got a bunch of strong female characters with Phasma, Tran, who everybody ran off of Twitter because it
Yeah.
was like, you fight for what you love. Great line. I don't know why everybody was mad about that. There's problems with Last Jedi, and as it's gotten
But
away
she
from
wasn't
it,
one.
I'm even, I've given up on a lot of, like, even my buddy Mike D is like, he's backed off some of the stuff. He's like, you're right, that was pretty bad.
It's got 99 problems, but a train ain't one.
Maybe that's why they didn't kill Leia off in the last one. Like we all agree that they should have and discussed a million times. But maybe there's such a pivotal part coming up in this, being her mother or aunt or something like that.
Well, even if they didn't,
they have to have her for this next movie. You know what I mean?
JJ gonna fix it. Even if they didn't plan for it, JJ's fixing it right now. Ruin Johnson. Now, and remember, we've also gotten, since the trailer dropped, the 10-year hiatus, supposedly. Hiatus, am I saying?
Hiatus.
What did I say?
Hiatus is like a giraffe.
Oh, okay. Well, they're going to take a giraffe.
It's like a dog.
They're going to take a giraffe break for like 10 years, but that doesn't count Mandalorian. That they didn't count. That's not going to count Mandalorian.
Right.
And, of course, Clone Wars or whatever cartoons coming back. So there's stuff that's going to be on the Disney Plus, and I think more show-based. But the way that Ruin Johnson did this one, and the fatigue that came out with how nobody liked Solo because they weren't ready for a Western, and you did a bunch of fan service in there, and you had Han's buddy be the director the second time through. So,
Maybe Rise of the Sky. Maybe Luke lives. And he trains, and he's coming back. He's rising.
He says
again.
nothing's ever really gone.
And in the very first movie, like Obi-Wan, when he gets killed, he's like, I'll become more powerful than
strike me down, and I'll become more powerful than you can ever imagine.
But we've already went through 3 movies of Luke rising. Do we need another one though?
No. Luke's not been right. Luke
was falling.
Okay, Luke had in New Hope. Right, Luke is just basically a kid that wants to go to summer camp or become a pilot. You know what I mean? He want to go off and be a pilot, which we found out. Turns out a lot of people want to be a pilot in those areas, right? Like Solo, I'm gonna be a pilot like my dad, right? And then so he want to get away. He want to go to college, right? Then now in Empire, he's finally gotten the word from Ben due to freezing his brain and about to die, like basically eating a whippet out there and on Hoth. He sees old Ben, and he's like, let me where do I need to go? You need to go to Dagobah, right? So he tells him to go to Dagobah to train with the Jedi Master Yoda, who
welcome to Dagobah.
Yoda was in hiding also, right? So it's like Ben was in hiding, Yoda's in hiding, and that's why they're wearing the in hiding Jedi clothes, which we hoped all Jedi, when we saw the original 3 prequels get made, were going to look like how Luke looked in Return. Like all black, ready to go, like a badass priest, which is what Jedis are, right? So, all right, now let's go back to our trailer.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go back to the trailer. We see in there at one point, not a lot of Kylo face other than that one move he gets to make with the takedown.
Give someone
where it looks like somebody gets the hilt.
Yeah.
Right? Like he gives somebody the hilt to the lightsaber in him. So that's pretty cool that he's finally using that part of the saber. There's also, it looks like, remember in the second one, the helmet got smashed? He smashed his helmet.
He's making a new helmet.
It looks like he's either piecing back his helmet or, let's go back to Solo. Remember the bad guy in Solo that had the red in his face that would like get redder as he'd get angrier?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What if he's cutting red into his helmet because, he's changing over his love from
Crimson Dawn?
Yeah, the Crimson Dawn guy. He could make his face even get more stretch marky and redder as he would get angry. So maybe Kylo's adding those red in, or he's refixing his mask.
Well, if they went true Star Wars, he's going to end up being the good guy, and she's going to end up turning toward the dark side by the time the end of the movie, I'd say. If they went true Star Wars, that's usually the flip-flop.
Or
the heel turns get baby face and vice versa.
We already know how they like to throw the fan service with these new movies. How about this? What if they brought it all the way back to where they really were twins, right?
That's what
they separate them.
Yeah.
And they're the twins from the grandfather who was supposed to bring balance to the Force, and he finally did by killing all the younglings and leaving it down to just now the 2 last grandkid Jedis, right, with the Force powers. They're now going to bring the balance back to where they're both good and evil. Like, Luke only thought he felt evil in Kylo. Like, look, he had a little flash. Just like when you're in the cave.
They came out and said that she is not Luke Skywalker's daughter, right?
Well,
Didn't they claim that?
We haven't got anything official. I don't think
It had little flashes of Kylo being good, showing
Right.
feelings, showing emotion, which is something we never ever got out of Vader or anything like that.
And Luke's living out there like a hermit on this island trying to train these Knights of the Ren, right? And all of a sudden he's like, oh, but what if there's too much Vader in him? And he has a vision, and all of a sudden he thinks he's going to turn on his lightsaber. Kylo sees that, oh my God, you're going to kill me. Now I am going to be bad because you were supposed to be good and wanted to kill me in my sleep.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like neither one of them are really bad. It's just a big misunderstanding. It's like the whole text message, meet me outside. Oh, you want to meet me outside?
Star Wars goes to Three's company. It's just a misunderstanding.
Right. And that's what a lot of that stuff is. I mean, think about it. Your galaxies apart when stuff happens.
Yeah, they don't have cell phones.
Right. And so we see Finn and everybody, they all teamed up. This looks like it's going to be that kind of give it that Rogue One Special Forces vibe. We've got all of our hero characters.
Yeah.
Chewie, Rey, Finn, Poe, BB-8, and some what looks like a new little droid that kind of reminds me of something out of Transformers, just with the one eye thing, right? Like the kind of guys ahead like the old clone troopers. Remember how they had just the pointy head?
Right.
And as we see them, what looks like they're on their ending adventure or maybe beginning adventure, like, right, we're here doing this.
And Lando, baby.
Lando's in it. That's a great thing also.
Yeah.
And seeing him, man, that was the first thing I saw was him standing in a doorway still picture, and then I got the trailer. But seeing them in that one scene where they're all there together, and then the camera turns around to what I believe is the remnants of the Death Star.
Right, it looks like it.
Goes back to her scrapper ways, right? They find the Death Star all crashed. You can see where it used to be. That used to be the shooty point, right? That Tory said was upside down in the other movie.
Yes.
But we realize there's no right side up or upside down in space.
You said that.
Well, a caller said that.
I don't care. I'm still standing beside what I said.
I think that they should not have made it do that. They should have always.
It's all of your own orientation at that point. So.
But
I'm not the only
the
one.
laugh at the end is the Emperor. We've seen Palpatine at Star Wars Day. He came out after the trailer. Everybody applauded, and he said, roll it again because of his evil cackle that's going on. Is that where they find the Emperor? Has he been hiding there in wrecked Death Star, waiting to make his time known, just like they did with at the end of Solo with Darth Maul?
I don't know. They never really let you know who escapes the Death Star before its tragic fates in all the movies.
If they introduce that, they're going to have to wrap it up because this is the last one, right? They're not doing like...
This is the end of the Skywalker saga,
Right.
so that's why I think it's the rise of the Skywalker. It's none of them. Right?
Yeah.
It's the rise of the Skywalker, kind of like the set.
I've just recently
Like
read they're going to
you don't die.
They're going to do
you rise.
more in this.
I recently read they're going to get like 10 more years out of this. Is what I've just
Well,
recently
they're taking
read out of
10
Star
year,
Wars.
They're taking a 10-year giraffe. They're taking a 10-year hyenas, right? And then, but with the Mandalorian and all that other shows we talked
There's
about,
going to be all that content.
but they're using the D.B. Weiss guys from Game of Thrones to do their own offset trilogy, right? And it's going to be the Old Republic, which these guys, I guess, are one-trick ponies, right? So it's going to be the Old Republic. We're going to go back, and let the Game of Thrones guys do this, and hopefully just throw money at them and have, Karen Kennedy stay away from it.
Probably a good idea.
And to hopefully keep her job,
Yeah.
right? And have Feige come over and help with Franconi and get all the great producers we can, even... Who do we say is doing the Mandalorian? Our boy from Swingers.
Jon Favreau.
Get him involved. Get Hamill involved. I want him to be an executive producer on every Star Wars thing from here on out because nobody's been asked more about the lore than him over all the years.
Speaking of Hamill, though, what if that wasn't Palpatine? What
No,
if
it's
that
him
was the
because we saw
Joker?
him.
And we found that's how they let us know that Marvel or that Disney has now bought DC too.
They did all the crossover.
They bought DC. They bought Hasbro. Like, basically, they're trying to get a complete monopoly on your childhood. They want to own it, and that's how they let us know. And then they're like,
maybe instead of
"Screw
being
you,
in
what
the
are you gonna
crashed
do?"
Death Star,
You know?
that's him in the starship at the very beginning.
Oh,
With a blinker on.
So going down the desert, got his blinker on. She don't know which way to jump. She's trying to get out of his way. But I did like how we saw the two. I don't even know if that's how you control it, but that was definitely not how he was controlling his when he should have taken out Leia in Last Jedi, right before she did her swimming scene
Yeah.
Right.
in space.
I don't know. There's a lot to take off that little trailer. I mean, they didn't show us too much.
Now, I would like to go back to that Kylo punch with doing that with the hilt, right?
That was cool.
One of my favorite scenes from the 8 was when they fought in the throne room against the Imperial Guards.
That was by far, I think, the best scene in 8.
And I feel like we finally got to see why these Imperial Guards are so BA, right? I mean, our whole life growing up, they just kind of had the cape and they stood guard.
Yeah.
Now you see that they had to earn their way up there by being badass fighters,
right? Instead
of just being like, I mean, you're obviously not the good-looking person that's going to stand there. We got a mask on.
They're all the Chuck Norrises of the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gosh, what's some other stuff that we saw in this trailer that you're thinking about? What do you think about my training thing? Do you think they might be working together? Are Kylo and Rey working together?
I think their relationship is going to grow in this one way or the other. If they're not brother sister, I think they're going to be more lovers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think that the way that they ended in the last one was, that's sort of like, earlier, I was about to call back to an episode that we did. It's sort of like calling the cops on your significant other. There's no coming back from that.
Right, yeah, exactly.
There's kind of no coming back from that level
There's certain
of betrayal.
things that you cannot do. Like you came over here, you punched my mom in the face. Like we can't be cool after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's like, oh, I know you got abs, but you actually are evil. Oh, wait, like actual evil. I don't know if I can get past that.
There's a thing that we've been saying on all of our shows since we started, Tory, that we totally respect people in uniform, our boys in blue, everybody like that, first responders, all that. Now, the galaxy doesn't need a first order, doesn't need a galactic empire. If these rebels actually took it out, there's going to be chaos, right? Like we need a first order and basically stormtroopers and police officers like that. Now, obviously, they don't need to be like how they were in Solo.
Bullying is helpful because it makes you stronger, sort of thing. We need the people to keep us in check.
But we don't need them blowing up planets. But we definitely.
But how are you going to keep people in line if you don't blow up a few planets?
You got to have the yin and the yang. You got to have the dark side and the light side.
But with the first order, let's say they take them out, and we're bringing back the Palpatine. That's going to take us right back to trade routes and everything. Like there has to be a galactic senate. There has to be an empire, a first order. Like these ragtag rebels, right, with 2 lightsabers and a droid.
But the rebels are wanting to put the Senate back into place. The First Order dissolved the Senate. That's where it's like you kind of have to have a representative.
The Galactic Empire resolved the Senate. I don't think anybody that's in the First Order now, these aren't clones. These are people that have grown up and only known this, Empire. Like they don't know nothing about no Senate or trade routes and whatnot because half those planets are gone. Right? We took out 3 or 4 planets in the very beginning of the last movie. Ryan was just like, I hate all these worlds. Right? We took out Alderaan before we ever even got to see what it looked like. I don't even know if Naboo's still there. Right? And if there is, there are 30 people looking like the princess. So I just feel like you need something in the galaxy to have rebels, to have this kind of angst. There's not all of a sudden, like we even went to that Richie world. Like remember in the last one also, we went to the Vegas world to set the animals free, but the animals only know being caged, blah, blah, blah. There's always still going to be those, there's nothing that these 5 rebels can do. This one ship is what we're left with. One ship of rebels, right? 3 droids, a Wookiee, right? A pilot that doesn't know how to say something about his feelings, and leaders that don't know how to say their plan so that nobody gets in a problem.
It only takes one voice to start a revolution.
Right, but what are they going to put in place after that? You see what I'm saying?
Cookouts.
Makes sense to me.
I just think you take out the First Order. That's a lot of people that have jobs that were stormtroopers. Right, like you know what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing in this galaxy for these people to do now.
Stormtrooper unemployed.
The unemployed stormtroopers.
They're picketing out in front of the Death Star.
What about these people that work their way up through the ranks? Like, I was a stormtrooper, but did so well that now I'm Admiral Akbar's kind of thing, or Neduk. Right, Neduk now need a job, but he's not as strong as a stormtrooper.
PTSD.
Right, we've been having to go up against these murderous priests with laser swords my entire career that come out of nowhere. One ranger, one riot, one Jedi, one fight. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of looks like if you wink, it's like, man, these rebels are really the bad guys. right? All put together by a family that's ran by another crazy priest that basically helped his son blow up and be a terrorist.
Yeah, the Empire
Like
is the number one employment. I mean, they employ so many people in the universe. I mean, you think they're the number one job, security.
And constantly building giant juggernaut ships and planets that can take out other planets and more Death Stars. Like, we've built like 2 and then 1 gigantic Death Star in this last one. Like, that's 3 Death Stars total over 35 years. That is a lot of money being put into the galaxy.
They're paying a lot of taxes. Yeah, you're right.
Or they're stealing
They're employing
it all,
a lot
like
of
Nazi
people,
gold or
man.
something like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's definitely, they deserve to be able to buy their vote. Absolutely.
I just feel like these ragtag rebels, like if they do take them out, they're just, what are we going to put in power? Like, obviously we need to stop blowing up planets and everything, but I feel like that's a conversation. Like, hey, let's not blow up planets, but let's keep policing these.
If you mess with the Empire, can you imagine how expensive groceries are going to get?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can't tax the rich.
It's already hard enough to get dehydrated stuff on Jakku.
That's right.
Well,
one portion.
I'm a little disappointed. We immediately start off with sand, right? It's always back to sand.
Right. Even Jedis can't deal with sand.
Well, I feel like that's why they got to wear all the brown clothes, because they can only hide in swamps and sand. And the only reason like we got to hide in the swamp was because he was green.
Right.
You look like a frog. Right? It looks like you're lily pad. So I'm very much excited. I tell you, I wasn't as excited for Star Wars after the last one, but now this trailer dropped right here before Endgame, when I was like, oh, it's just Endgame, that's all I care about. Maybe I'll go see Star Wars. When I was thinking maybe, that's when it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm right back in love. I cannot wait. I'm excited. JJ has been the king of the nerds. There was a time when I thought he was going to get to do Star Trek, Star Wars, and Justice League. And I was just like, that is the trifecta of nerdom right there. That is your Triforce. Yep. And so I'm excited. We want to know what you're thinking. When we post this, it's going to be on our YouTube. You're listening to it right now. Let us know in the comments what you think about the trailer, what you're excited for about Christmas, when you think the full trailer is going to drop, all the great stuff. Who's Rey? Is she the Skywalker? Is Kylo the Skywalker? Who is your Rise of the Skywalker? And are they using Rise oppositely, right? Is it more like the death of Skywalker when they say rise? Like, is he rising into the Force and becoming part of it? Are they trying to pun us right here? Let us know what you think. But we're excited for it. Always when we get the nerd out here on a little nerd out one-off on the morning aftermath with Jake James, Tory Lee, and Waylon Whiskey.
Channel Z.